Hey, Las Vegas. Thanks for joining us back here on Vegas Realty Check, your local Las Vegas real estate news show. I'm Trish Williams.
And I'm Tiana Carroll. Welcome back.
And if you have not noticed, we are a day early today because we have a big celebration for our country tomorrow. Independence Day. This is when we celebrate not being a part of Britain anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We are filming a day early, so that way we can enjoy our day off, our Independence Day with our families, and we can get to you a day early. So thanks for being flexible, guys.
Yeah, so you do not have to try to tune into our show while you're trying to light up some fireworks and blow some stuff up.
Or even get that grill going.
Get the grill going. I like getting the grill going more. I was all like for fireworks years ago, but now that I have a dog.
Oh.
I mean, I've always had a dog, but now I have a dog that has anxiety.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah, right? Like he is so sensitive. And like he, in my neighborhood, unfortunately, there's like people like to pregame, you know? So we're hearing the fireworks already. We've been hearing them for the last couple weeks. And, just people, I don't know, get so excited they can't wait.
Yeah, they can't wait. And they have been going off in the valley. There's a lot of HOAs that don't allow fireworks until like the first through the 4th. It's part of their rules and regulations.
It should be the 4th. I mean, like, why even the 1st? There's no reason to set them off early.
People get excited. And if you have kids, if you went out and bought a bunch of fireworks, that is sitting there staring them in the face like, hey, little kid, don't you want fireworks? They are going to be hounding you.
Hey, little kid, let's go set off explosives. How fun.
Yeah. Well, who doesn't like big bangs? And then but if you love fireworks, there's also fireworks that are happening all summer long on Fridays at the Plaza. Nice. They do those every Friday night for summer because they just went through their big remodel.
Yeah.
So you not only get to enjoy that for 4th of July weekend, but every Friday, and I think it's through August.
Yeah. And then the Strip always has a great fireworks show on 4th of July, so you can tune in or watch. That's my intention. I'm not blowing up any explosives this year, not even trying, have no intent of doing that. Hang out in the pool, watch it from my beautiful view out back.
You do have a great view. You do have a great view of the Strip for all those fireworks.
Yeah, and that is the plan. So, yeah.
Yeah, I have a good view of the Strip from my balcony, so I can watch the fireworks there. But I have to say, ever since I've been sort of an empty nester, I don't really buy fireworks and do that whole thing. It's usually pool parties and barbecues and just watching the fireworks, the city or whoever provides the fireworks that happen on the Strip. I guess it's the hotels. Thanks, guys.
A couple years ago, and I want to say my son was probably about 17 or 18, and he had his teenager friends over 4th of July, and I'm like, I'm going to go get you all a bunch of fireworks, and it's going to be so much fun. And they were kind of not interested. And I was like, isn't this supposed to be fun? Like, isn't this what you guys do? Whatever. Yeah. And they wanted to hang out, party, whatever. And then I'm like, and then that's when it dawned on me. I was like, why is it a thing for to have us out setting off explosives and look at the sparkles? I was like, it seems kind of silly. So.
And the rockets, red glare, the bombs bursting in air.
Well, yeah, okay, get it. But I was just like, I don't know. I guess maybe it's maturity or something. I was like, this does seem silly. I get it why they're not interested. But
yeah, and my kids were sort of hit and miss with it.
Yeah.
Some of them liked fireworks and the rest were sort of disinterested, especially on the ones that we'd set off at home. They'd want to just go see a firework display or be done with it.
Well, when I was little, the sparkler, oh my gosh, the sparkler was the coolest thing ever.
Yeah, for me, I was like, I don't want to hold it. Thanks, I'm good.
I was like, I get a star in my hand, a live star. It's sparkling, but
yeah, I think I liked it when I was older. When I was young, I was afraid of it. Then when I was a teenager, then I was like, I love sparklers or whatever. And now I'm just like, I'm so disinterested. I just like to watch beautiful firework displays. I don't want to set them all off.
Yeah, and I find myself also in I guess my more mature years. That's a nice way of putting it.
It sounds like you're going into retirement over here. That's not the case, kids.
But I prefer in any outing, not just 4th of July, just like anything, any outing, any event. I don't want to be behind a screen, like behind the phone. I don't ever want, I just don't like being the recorder, recording, taking pictures, whatever. Most of the time, and you probably know this or have noticed this, I hardly ever pull out my phone to take pictures.
Have you noticed that I record everything?
Yeah, I know. But I'm more, I love that because I rely on the other people to send me the pictures they took.
Yeah, well, being the recorder is no fun because you're not in anything. I have beautiful videos that I always send people from weddings or events or award ceremonies or whatever, and I'm like, not in it, not there.
We got some good shots of you at the last event, so that was good.
But I was like adamant. Do you remember I kept saying, you guys, make sure you get pictures of me, take pictures, and it felt weird asking that, but I'm glad I did because A, I love that dress, and B, that was such a beautiful, spectacular night anyway. Congratulations again for that 25 top 25 women in real estate from the Women's Council.
Thank you. Yes, it was an honor. But yeah, I like, I just want to be in the moment and not be behind I don't want to see the moment through a screen.
Yeah.
So that's usually why my phone's tucked away. And then, but there's times, like I was out with a friend and I've been out with her a few times and she lives out of state, and then she's like, we never get pictures together. And I'm like, oh yeah, that's my
my bad.
It's kind of a bad habit, or it's good habit. I think it's a good habit because you live more in the moment, but I should, document stuff.
Well, I was going to say, I love the documentation, and I can't even tell you how many times things will pop up on my memory, and I just and you get to relive it, and I love sharing it, and I don't know, I love everything being documented. My iCloud will tell you that I've got 4 terabytes in there, and it's just bulging at the seams because I've got thousands of photos and videos over the years.
Yeah, and it is a good balance. I have a very dear friend. She was one of my best friends ever. That's no longer with us. Yeah, and again, I've been with her. I mean, hundreds, thousands of times. I've known her for 30 years, and her daughter was asking me for photos, and I look back, and I had 6 photos of us together, and I'm like, oh, that felt horrible.
Yeah.
That felt horrible. I was like, all these times, all these memories, I didn't have a lot. But because I get in that habit of not.
If you're not documenting it and you're not having it, then those moments and those memories get slipped away. They're just trapped with you.
Yeah.
So, and I don't
They are in my head, though.
For now, girl, you better hope you don't get something that causes that to go away.
Right.
But yeah, no. And just looking back over time, because life goes fast and it's very long. So there's things that you'll miss. Like I said, I get things that pop up in the memory, and it might be something that I forgot about that was just like a little festival or a one-day thing that I didn't even really remember. And I see the pictures and it all comes flowing back. I love them.
Yeah, but we are here. We are in the eternal life of our show, so we're documented.
Yeah. When we're long gone, this will probably be on the internet somewhere.
Somewhere it will. It will. We will live forever in this.
Yeah.
And in this age, I love that.
I'll forever look like this.
Yeah.
On this video.
Yeah. So back to real estate
in the real world. Come back to us. What's going on?
Talking about exceeding in numbers. Inventory.
4,017 today of single family homes available in the valley. That sure is ticking up.
It sure is, and we're seeing it. I mean, we had an instance this weekend where it's like sellers, you show a house and the agents are like begging you for an offer. They're like, give you the cow, the farm, take it all. Please. Just
all weekend long,
offer.
Every showing, listing agents were calling and being like, hey, we're motivated. Hey, we'd offer this credit. And what do you think about this? Because we'd be willing to work on it.
Yeah.
And the sellers that are out there right now seem very, very motivated.
Yeah, and I've gotten a lot of, if they did offer, what would it be?
Right.
And I'm like, wow, we get to write our own numbers here. So, buyers, this, again, you should do, I sound like a broken record, but you should do the opposite of what everybody else is doing, because that is when you have beneficial circumstances.
Yeah. You want to break away from the herd.
Yeah.
Because if these interest rates do drop or there is a flood of inventory on this market, it's just nothing but competition.
Yep. And we did get a more Mortgage News Daily, I think it's called, something of the sort, had reported yesterday that they believe that we hit the ceiling on rates.
Okay.
And I also agree with that. Again, election seasons, we typically see rates drop a little bit. So I do think that we've hit our ceiling and we're starting to see them come down. They have a little thermometer of where they gauge rates are going and are at or whatever. And we are all in the green now in the positive outlook section. So that's
well, that's good because everything else is looking negative. Every time I turn around, every time I open my laptop, if there's anything that comes up, it is always the sky is falling. The world is falling apart. Real estate's trash. Get out while you can.
Well, yeah, that sells, right?
Right. That's all clickbait.
Yeah, so definitely, but
I mean,
again,
there are some markets
inventory
having a
is
hard time.
raising. We are shifting to what looks more like a buyer's market, even though the numbers are not statistically buyer's market numbers.
Right.
We're shifting to an environment that feels.
The environment is buyer friendly.
Yeah.
Sellers are willing to work and willing to negotiate, and you have this little teeny tiny window before buyers are obligated to pay for their own representation. You still have the option of using that MLS co-op right
or
now.
of seeing it, because sellers can still offer to pay buyer's agent compensation. If the market stays in trend with where it's at right now, I'm sure that a lot of sellers are still going to see that as a very good idea.
Yeah.
So,
I agree. There's going to be a high percentage of sellers who are going to be like, if it's not broke, don't fix it. And they want the most amount of traction and they want the qualified buyers. So
Yeah, definitely. So I don't see that going away by any means whatsoever.
I don't see it going away either, but we do have to inform the consumer that it's possible.
It's possible, and
everything's
buyers,
negotiable, like we've always said.
Yeah, and again, that's an agreement that you make with your realtor. And after, and once you make that agreement, if the seller offers to compensate that, then, hey, that's a win, but you still have the agreement.
Yep. And these sold numbers are showing like a strong buyer's market too, because things are moving. 647 sold homes.
Yeah, that's a good number. Decreases, they're a little bit less than they were last week.
Yeah,
they're
just
473.
Yep.
Yeah, they were a little over 500 last week. And 637 under contract.
Yep, right in line with those sales. So,
yay
that.
A little bit more inventory, but we still have activity, which is good.
Yay, we
Yeah.
love activity.
Yeah, I feel like since we've had so many alternative shows lately that we haven't talked listener questions in a bit.
Oh, what do you? Oh, well, I was gone 1 week. You had the coaching corner.
Yeah, and then we had a market report or market update before
and then we
that.
had a community spotlight.
Rick. Yeah, so and Rick's been great. I actually had got him to do some stuff for myself, and great guy.
Oh yeah,
So
looked over your trust.
I looked over my trust and worked on some other things for me, and that was Rick Cosgrove, who was a guest on this show. Definitely putting my money where my mouth is. He was definitely did very good by me.
Okay,
so,
cool.
I would recommend him.
All right.
Yeah. So let's start with Carmen.
Oh, I didn't know whose name it was.
Did I not send you her name?
Nah,
Okay,
it
I'm
just
so
said,
sorry.
so it's Carmen who
Carmen.
said, my daughter wants to purchase a home in the United States, but she is not a resident of this country. Is there anything that is different about this purchase that she will need to know?
Yes.
Yes, there is.
A little bit. So on the purchase side, it doesn't sway much.
Doesn't sway much, but there are things that you need to be aware of if you are purchasing in the U.S.
Yeah, that come around when you sell. But one thing that is a factor on a purchase when you are not a resident of the United States, in most cases, you can't qualify for a mortgage. Mortgages are of the United States. You have to be a resident to qualify for most of the mortgages out there.
Not most of them, all of them. As a foreigner, you can get a U.S. loan.
Yeah, there's an ITIN program that if you have an ITIN number, then you can look into that program. So there is an option there. But other than that, no residence, no ITIN number, you can't get a mortgage loan. So it would have to be a cash purchase.
Yeah, but you can, like, I don't want to say you can't get a mortgage loan, because you can. They usually tend to be higher down payment and higher interest rates in that program than what we're offering to residents of the United States. It is possible, but most of the time you'd want to get financing in your home country to purchase outside of the country or be a cash buyer.
Yeah, or have it be a cash purchase.
Yep.
Which most of the time with people that are purchasing foreign in the U.S., we typically see those as cash transactions.
Usually, usually they are.
You do need to be aware that there's something different when you sell. You want to talk about that?
Well, yeah, if you do purchase in the United States, when you go to sell a property, a foreign energy, you're going to trigger FIRPTA, which is our Foreign Tax Act here. And typically that is the responsibility of the buyer to make sure seller's proceeds are withheld during this transaction and paid within like 20 days to the IRS. And those aren't the taxes that are conveying with the property or the sale. Those are part of the tax act. So that's your cost of doing business in the United States, usually about 15% of the sale price.
And the title company withholds, they withhold the funds from your proceeds, and they will hold it there to assure that it gets paid.
Yeah. And then also when foreign investors are coming to the United States, we're much more litigious than other parts of the country. So making sure that the assets are protected, that you have insurance, and that it's put in an LLC is always advisable, because we do get sue happy here. You also have to make sure there's ways of getting out, or not ways of getting out. There are some exemptions for taxes, but usually you'll have to pay taxes, file your tax returns for the property as well.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, yeah.
And then there's also things that, like in Nevada, we don't have any rules that regulate foreign buyers from coming into Vegas. No. But there are certain states, like if you're buying in Texas and it's agricultural, it has to be reported to their agricultural division. And then if you're in Hawaii, they don't let you buy agriculture if you're a foreign investor. So there are some other things to consider when purchasing. But in Nevada, we're very foreign investor friendly, because we don't have laws that deter that. We just need to make sure that when people come to purchase in this valley, that they're aware of our process, that they do have some sort of tax advisor or financial advisor, because they not only want to take care of taxes properly in our country, but how's that affect them in their home country and how that money is being used. And then just make sure that they are set to pay that FIRPTA at the end, that they know that that's happening when they go to sell that property.
Yes, absolutely. And that's always, whenever I talk to somebody that is looking to sell from another country, that's the first conversation I have, because I would think it's common knowledge, but it's not. It's not. There's many times I've spoken with somebody that was not aware of that.
Yeah.
And once we go through that, definitely sometimes it can change the outlook of what their plans are.
Yeah. And these are all just conversations that you have to have.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Pam,
Let's see.
Okay, so
Pam says, I have heard about fires starting in buildings and all of the other ones burning down. This makes me very scared to move into a condo or townhome. Does this happen often?
Often, I would say no.
I would say definitely no, because I looked up the statistics for it and I was shocked we were like 38th down on the list of states that have just fires, residential fires, not even specific to townhomes or condominiums.
Yeah. So. And I did speak with Pam when she had asked this question. We had a long conversation around it. And one of the things that we were talking about, she was looking to purchase in Henderson, a new home, new construction. Well, Henderson code is to have fire sprinklers in the units on any multifamily.
Yep.
So that, and I'm seeing that more. I don't know if it's, I really don't know if it's code now across the valley for multifamily, but I see almost all multifamily has the fire suppression systems built into the units
right
now. So On newer construction, I wouldn't really, and she agreed, wouldn't really see that as a concern because not only do they have the fire suppression systems, they also have the fire rated insulation between the buildings.
Right.
Yeah. So, that lets it, it has to burn for a certain amount of time before that fire can breach that wall.
Right, before it can get through.
Yeah. So, so that is not a huge concern.
And Vegas is pretty firefighter friendly. I mean, we have like 3 battalions and 32 stations. We're pretty well covered in the valley.
Yeah, there's some communities where I've heard of, there's one community I know in particular has an assessment in place now because their insurance rates have spiked tremendously because it's a townhouse community. Association governs the building, the exterior of the building, and a whole building burnt down with 3 townhouses there. So it can happen.
It can happen. Yeah. It does happen. We're not saying that it's not going to happen, but it can happen anywhere in the country. It's not specific to Vegas, and we don't have like builders that don't follow codes and they're not putting up buildings that aren't as safe as they can be.
Right.
Yep.
And that community in particular was built in the 80s. So, maybe I'm assuming the fire suppression systems were probably not installed there.
Yeah, not at that time, probably.
Yeah. So I think we've come a long way with that. And I wouldn't see it as a big concern. Definitely research. That's always a good thing.
Definitely research. And if you are purchasing a property, you have your due diligence where it's your time to do the homework on the property and find out all the information about that unit. So you're comfortable purchasing.
Yeah. And another thing, if you are dealing with like an older unit, like a much older unit, sometimes like, for instance, in Las Vegas Country Club, some of those units are so old. It was before it was regulation for the smoke alarms to be in every room.
Yep.
And so they're not there, but you can add those very easily.
You can add those. And then if you're like, well, not so much Las Vegas Country Club, because I believe those are condos that you're talking about.
The condos there, yeah.
But if you're getting like any kind of FHA loan for a single family or townhome or anything, they have to have those smoke alarms in place before purchase. That's a loan contingency.
Yeah. So definitely you can, even if you're not in the middle of purchasing, but you know that you have an older unit, you don't have smoke alarms, very easy to get. You can get those in the, under $40 at Home Depot, battery operated, pop them up there. It's super easy problem to fix.
Yep.
So those are good.
But do you remember the apartment complex that burned down off of the 215 in 21?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So
wasn't that under construction, though?
It was under construction. Nobody was living there, thank goodness. But it did rank in one of the top 10 costliest fires of the United States. It was number 6.
Wow.
And I think it was $35 million in damage for that.
Jeez, and it wasn't even built yet.
I know. I know.
Yeah, well, they, something went wrong with construction there, apparently.
Yeah, but thank goodness nobody was hurt and nobody was living there. That was all under construction.
Yeah.
And now it's down to the dirt. They've completely removed it. It used to be like the 4 towers standing up, the elevator stacks.
I hate to see their insurance rates.
Yeah. Speaking of insurance rates, I was looking at that fire insurance for Spring Valley, North Las Vegas, and what was the other one? There was 3
Henderson?
areas. No, it wasn't Henderson, but they were older areas of town. It was North Las Vegas and Spring Valley for sure that had higher insurance rates.
Okay. That's interesting.
Yep.
So Mike,
my boy Mike.
Yes.
He's worried about rattlesnakes. Are there rattlesnakes in Las Vegas? Is there something I need to look out for when I move there?
This question made me laugh because, again, this was someone that I was speaking to when he asked the question, and I was like, well, I mean, yeah, I guess there are.
Well, they are native. They do survive in the desert. They usually thrive in the warmer months. So you're thinking like March to October is when they're active.
Yeah. Do you ever talk to people and like when they're asking you a question, like I don't know, it's just the way my brain operates. I've like it's like this little cartoon runs through my head of the question they're asking, and I'm just like seeing someone in a house with rattlesnakes chasing them, and I'm like, that's funny. So
So on a
welcome to my
day-to-day
head.
basis, you're not going to see rattlesnakes running around the streets of Vegas.
So I've lived here my entire life. I've never seen a rattlesnake. I mean, I've been to the. Can I knock on wood somewhere? Because I don't want to see a rattlesnake.
Here, you can use my head.
Yeah, there we
ahead.
go. I mean, I've never, not at Lake Mead, not at, but they're there. I know they're there.
They're absolutely there. They absolutely are living in this environment. They're native to the valley. Now, with all of the development over the years, and because we started in the center of the city and sort of moved out, the more congested it is, the natural habitat has been destroyed. Now, if you're in rural areas, then of course you're going to be more apt to see rattlesnakes. But they're, from what I understand, I'm not a snake expert, but they're not just out there trying to bite people. They usually will stay quiet unless they feel that they are being threatened.
Right.
And they hide like in shade, tall grasses, behind rocks. So if you're out hiking and you're an outdoorsy person, then they'll always suggest that you look before you sit, step, or grab at anything to make sure. And of course, they're the same color as our natural sands and stuff out there, so they blend right in. You may have walked past them and never even noticed them.
Yeah. And I would say that if you, to see them in your residence or around your residence would likely, most likely be if you're like on the outskirts in a new development out towards, branched out towards the city, which we see a lot of now, or branched out away from the city, closer to the mountains. Those definitely we
more
encroached on their area.
Yep.
Yeah. So, there could be some coming through there. But then again, we do have those random one-offs, right? Where they're somewhere in, there was a mountain lion in central Las Vegas.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. Like wherever you go in the country, you can randomly have a bear walking down the street or a tiger that escaped from a zoo walking down the street. And I was going to say, you're most likely going to see a rattlesnake in the valley if it has escaped from some sort of domestic situation, right? And even though it is illegal to have things like cobras and mambas and things in Vegas, there is certain the illegal reptiles are pit vipers, which rattlesnake is a pit viper.
Is it?
Yep. Oh. And so they are illegal in our valley as well to hold them, except for if they're indigenous species. And our indigenous species are the sidewinder, the Mojave, the speckled, the western diamondback, and the Great Basin rattlesnake. So you could actually apply to have one as a pet.
That interesting topic, because someone told me recently that they were looking to move to Vegas and they heard that that we can get permits to have camels.
We can.
As a pet. And I'm like, wow.
We can. Oh, do I have, hold on.
I haven't met anybody with a camel as a pet yet, but I would love to. If you have a camel with as a pet, I want to meet your camel.
Wait, so let me see if I don't know if I have this up, but I have a whole list of, here it is. I do have it up. So, in Las Vegas, some pets that are legally owned in Las Vegas, like, hang on to your hats, kids. You can have a tiger.
Wow.
You can have a ferret and gerbil, which is fine. You can have monkeys.
Yeah. My mom used to babysit monkeys when I was a kid.
Lions, hedgehogs, parrots, elephants, camels, alpaca, ostrich, toucans, bison, zebra, and ducks and geese.
You can have an elephant?
And I love elephants. I love elephants.
Like, who has one?
I don't know.
Is there someone in Vegas? I want to know if there's someone in Vegas that has a camel or an
somebody
elephant.
in
I want to
Vegas
meet you.
because I've shown houses and I've shown up and I had one have a albino kangaroo named Snowball and they had a whole habitat in the back and they had an electric igloo, so it was always cold in there for them in the Vegas sun. Not that kangaroos need cold, but they just had an air-conditioned space and it happened to be in the shape of an igloo. Totally cute.
Wow, that is really amazing. Really amazing.
But as for our illegal, we have all sorts of illegal mammals that you can't have here. You can't have wild dogs or raccoons or mongoose or meerkats, which are wild European rabbit. I don't even know what that is. Rats, bats, coyotes, foxes, raccoons. You can't have a cute little coyote, but you can have a lion. How is that even right?
That is kind of weird.
You can't have a skunk, but you can have a tiger. Okay. Yeah, a moose and all sorts
moose.
of yeah.
Me and my pet moose.
Yeah. Well,
That's,
this is my emotional support moose. Leave me alone.
That is amazing. Amazing, Vegas. Really.
Yeah, but again, there are snakes in the valley. We don't see them a lot, and especially because we are really, really, really dense in our city, right? We've got residents all over the place. But if you do have any questions about rattlesnakes or living with rattlesnakes, you can always defer to the Nevada Department of Wildlife, ndow.org. And they'll give you all the information and what to do if you do get bit, who to call if you see one, how to avoid them. All of that information's on the website.
All right. Well, good. And if someone wants to contact you for
anything
real
other
estate,
than rattlesnakes,
not a snake bite.
You want to talk about elephants? That's fine. You want to talk about real estate? That's fine. You can call or text me 702-379-9948. And what about you, Trish? How did they get a hold of you?
You can call me at 702-308-2878. And I'm telling you, if you have an elephant, I want to meet it.
Me too. I love elephants.
Yes, that would be interested. We could bring you and the elephant on the show. I don't know if they'll let
I don't
him in
know
the door,
if that
but
elephant would fit through the studio doors.
I don't know, but
maybe we could shoot remotely.
Yeah, that's awesome. We can get your elephant on our show. But yes, give us a call, and guys, have a happy and safe 4th of July.
Yes,
and
be safe out there, you guys.
Yes, and we will see you next
Mind
week.
the drinking and the hydrating and the heat, and be careful with fireworks, especially if you've been enjoying some libations.
Don't drink and drive, guys.
Don't drink and drive.
Yeah.
This day and age, that's a ridiculous thing to do.
Absolutely.
got
And
Uber
there is billboards all over town right now. It says, drive high, get a DUI. So, hey, pot smokers, none of that. Don't get behind the wheel.
Any of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, this day and age, that's ridiculous that people would still be intoxicated driving with the Ubers and the taxi cabs and stuff. That's a shame. Don't put yourself or anybody else in danger. Have a great holiday, and we'll see you here next week.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Bye, Vegas.
Bye.